On TikTok, you can convince anyone to do anything, and you don't even have to really try that hard. Right now, there's a man on TikTok fighting the good fight to try and convince people that urine is basically the cure to every ailment on the planet.
Now, this therapy is not right for everyone. It's very esoteric, and it takes a Jedi mind trick to get over your conditioning, your industrial age school system, your propaganda programming, etc.
This is urine therapy. I really love how therapy's lost all meaning and weight. You can kind of just slap that word on anything and people just believe in it off rip. I wouldn't be surprised if they start preaching about deep fried therapy on TikTok, where you go and jump into a deep fat fryer in order to give yourself like a golden crispy body armor, and it's supposed to like open your pores and make you immune to bullets or something ridiculous. But the evil programming that he's talking about here, that you have to Jedi mind trick Men in Black neuralizer out of your brain, is the common sense knowledge most people have to not drink piss, and certainly not use urine as a sunscreen, and definitely not using pee-pee as an anti-balding agent. It's not exactly propaganda programming that he's preaching it as. It's literally like common sense. It's pretty much basic human instinct.
Particular situation right here, this is aged urine. This is about 6 months, maybe a little bit longer, give or take. It's got that nice brown tint to it.
A vintage brew. Exquisite taste. No doubt fermented in an oak barrel while Mozart played in the facility while this was festering. So, it's got the nice brown tint to it that everyone loves their pee to look like, and he's very excited. This is a delicacy to this guy. The fucking urine utopia here. He's got everything he could ever need. A nice 6-month-old piss jar.
And then, of course, oof. Gnarly. Smells like ammonia. I don't always drink this, but the research that I've shown is it's good for parasites, it's good for your gut microbiome. It's gnarly, so it's going to have that element of power.
I don't always drink this, but when I do, I end up projectile vomiting in my toilet, and that's proof to me that it's detoxing my body and deparasiting me, obviously. The research I've read, none of which I cite and none of which actually exists with any real merit to it, all says that drinking piss is 2 thumbs way up. So I do it. Daily. I can't help but giggle at that belief that if something is so turbo shitty, it must actually be good for you. This is so gnarly, thus it has that element of power to it. No, goofball, you're drinking piss. The only power that has is to leave stains in a gas station toilet seat. That's it. It's not doing anything for you. Just because it's gross and gnarly doesn't mean that it's somehow carrying these, secret benefits underneath all the garbage. That's not how that works at all. And he keeps talking about it being like an ancient therapy. I will never understand why people want to go back to the ancient ways. People barely made it to adulthood back 5,000 years ago. Most people were dropping dead by 12 years old. It's not like the ancient civilizations had it figured out. Like, their techniques were the best ones. People live longer now and healthier now than they ever were back then. So I don't know why all of a sudden we're putting so much stock in the ancient ways.
So typically I use it topically. It's excellent for energy in the sun, boosts my testosterone. I just feel it in my muscles. It really gives me a lot of clarity and energy. But I have it open and we're talking about it, so of course we can drink a little bit and see what happens. The first thing that we get is it's very gnarly smelling. However, once it goes on your skin and you get some sunlight on it, I like to ride my bike.
A great swig indeed. The exquisite flavor of pee. Scrumptious piss. Now, to be fair, it's probably not that much worse than just drinking a Miller Lite, but the thing is, at least Miller Lite's not preaching all of these ridiculous health benefits that he's about to drone on about, all of which are a bunch of fucking hooey, and then he starts lecturing about how he uses his 6-month-old piss as a lotion, like basically a sunscreen, and how it helps make his muscles feel better and he gets a pump out of it and all kinds of just nonsense gobbledygook.
Put it on my body, either lay out here at the pool or put it on my body and go out for a ride in my bike, even when it's 110, 115 degrees out here. I mean, I know how powerful this is for me. It's not the greatest tasting delicacy on the planet, but it's kind of like eating oysters or uni, sea urchin. I know it's good for me. It's loaded with minerals.
It's not good for you. Like, that's something that's reserved for a life or death situation where you need piss to survive. This isn't something that you just wake up and do as part of your daily morning routine. That is so outrageous. He just really thinks for some reason it's good for him because he let his fucking pee sit in a jar for 6 months and now is drinking it and using it as sunscreen. Now, he doesn't need to age his urine. He is fine just pissing and drinking it every morning like fresh urine, right from the source, you know, ethically sourced pee from his cock. He's fine doing that. It's not necessarily the aging that he thinks makes it good for him. He just really thinks drinking urine and using urine in a variety of different ways is just like the best thing for you. Inexplicably. It's so ridiculous. And he talks about how he like puts it on his body and then goes for like a bike ride. My heart breaks for any unfortunate souls that happen to just be walking down the sidewalk when this guy rides by on his bike. I can't even imagine the smell. That must be unfathomable. Like having your senses assaulted by 15 dump trucks all unleashing that Methodist right to your nose. Like you could probably smell this guy coming from a mile away, wearing 6-month-old dried piss as a cologne as he's on his bike ride, his morning commute. Like that scene in SpongeBob with like taking the stink with him. It's crazy how awful that must be.
Cell salts, amino acids, stem cells, antigens, antibodies. But the way I like to use it ultimately is topically. So you put a little bit in your hand there, and then you just rub it on your skin. And so once it's out in the sun for a little while, it mixes with your own pheromones and it smells like perfume.
I highly fucking doubt that. I imagine you just smell like piss. Like the logic there makes no sense. He even opens that jar and says that it smells gnarly. So how would you take something that smells gnarly, put it on your body, and then all of a sudden it magically turns into something that's like perfume? That's the whimsy of urine therapy, I suppose, the magical mystique of it. He throws out a lot of buzzwords about the benefits that urine has with the antigens and the stem cells and all of that. And I decided to look into it. There's like some research about some of the stuff that is in urine, but none of it recommends ever consuming it or using it on your body in any way, because at the end of the day, it's waste. It's literally just your body's waste. Yeah, it has some shit in it that is like, if you're dumb, like an actual Neanderthal brain, sounds like it's gonna be good, like stem cells. But what you don't realize is it's not like you drinking that urine is somehow like blasting your whole body with stem cells from piss.
It's a little musky, if you will. And so this is what gives me excellent color. And I don't always practice this, but when I do, it makes me feel great. So I took some time to create some jars earlier last year. See me getting it on his legs. I like to get it in where my lymph nodes are. So in the creases of my elbows, behind my knees, on my ankles, where the sun hits me the most, my shoulders.
Now, of course, he's not the only enthusiast of pee-pee. There is an entire community of urine therapy cultists that swear by it. Like, they love this. Like, they really think they're becoming superhumans, beating every possible ailment ever just through piss. It's like the ultimate panacea to them. But that raises an important question. Why not poop? Why is it only reserved for urine? Why doesn't this extend to the butthole as well? Why is this guy not a shit-eating specialist? Why isn't he preaching the gospel about the hidden benefits of feces consumption? I'll tell you why. It's because they're all cowards. When you drink piss, you're not usually going to make yourself super sick from it or anything, so it's a little safer. But when you eat shit, you can make yourself sick. So they're just afraid. If you want my respect, you'll start eating poop as well. So this guy says he gets up most mornings and drinks some pee. Well, how about you drink that pee and wash that pee down with some poop? Then I'll be impressed. You tell me when this guy starts using poop as a sunscreen. Like, it's probably even better than urine in that respect. It's a little thicker so you can get like a nice good lather on it. Yeah, then I'll say maybe this guy's onto something. This whole fucking thing is so ridiculous. Like, it's so ridiculous that you can just make an argument for actually anything and have people believe it. Even drinking their own piss and using it as sunscreen.
I know people that wash their hair with it. They have gotten rid of some premature balding. It's used for all sorts of stuff. I don't make any claims. I just love it. And I've been using it for 20 years. And I love the way it makes my skin look and my muscles feel.
How in the fuck would urine on your scalp prevent premature balding? If anything, it would scare the follicles into submission even quicker. The follicles would kill themselves if they started getting drowned in piss. Like, that's such a ridiculous thing to say. And then he goes on to say that he's not making claims, even though this is exactly what you're doing. These are claims you're making. Like, that's exactly what's happening here.
So every morning I pee in a mason jar and I drink it. I put it in a neti pot and I clean my nose with it. If you want to age it, this is a 64-ounce wide mouth mason jar.
I don't really need the piss brewing tutorial, to be honest. It's pretty self-explanatory. Pee in a jar, let it sit for 6 months. Like that, I think anyone in the world can follow that with no problems and no education required for that. Also, that's gotta be the worst breakfast of champions I've ever heard. Waking up every morning to piss in a jar and drink it. That's atrocious. What an awful start to the day. And then he says that he uses his pee in a neti pot to clean out his sinuses. That's galaxy brain. Brother, this isn't a therapy, you've got a fetish.
For tight muscles, pain, not making any claims whatsoever. I just experienced this and it feels amazing in the sun.
You pretty much get the idea. That's the whole pitch here on urine therapy. You convinced yet? I know I'm not. So, I just had to share this. I saw this earlier today, and it is just a baffling video and concept that he's talking about here. I had to talk about it. That's about it. See ya. On TikTok, there lives many evils, some cringe, some criminal. Just like the Force with the Jedi and the Sith, there exists a balance. And today, we're gonna tiptoe and tap dance all over that line between cringe and criminal as we look at a completely deplorable individual named Madison who hatched a diabolical scheme to fake cancer, apparently with the goal of getting her family back together. At least according to her, that's the statement she made in court as to the motive behind faking cancer. Which, if that really was the goal of it, that is a worse plan than anything Ed Nettie ever hatched for jawbreakers back in the day. It makes no sense, but basically, she faked cancer, eventually started getting, like, public speaking gigs, I suppose. She documented her battle with it in an attempt to, like, uplift people, I suppose. She also made a GoFundMe, which collected, like, $37,000, which turns this whole thing from just a complete fabrication for the sake of attention, possibly, into a full-blown scam where she was taking money from people under a complete lie. And then, eventually, the whole house of cards came crumbling down after an investigation concluded that she made everything up. Now, I can't find the first videos she started to post about this. It only exists, from what I can find, in a Ray William Johnson video he just posted covering this, so I'm just going to show you a clip from that.
We found a mass on my pancreas, and I had stage 2 pancreatic cancer at just 19 years old.
Oh, but that's not even the worst part. She also had leukemia.
The 5-year outlook of survival is a slim 11%.
But does all this stop Madison? No way. She sees it as an opportunity to document her battle and uplift others.
What an incredibly evil thing to lie about. Now, of course, she's far from the only person on the cyberspace to lie about having cancer. In fact, there was a really recent story I just talked about like a month ago about a poker player who lied about having terminal cancer in order to raise money to enter a poker tournament. But anyway, back to Madison. So she posted a lot of update content going over what was happening, and this includes photos that she would take. Photos that she would stage, since she didn't actually have cancer. And I can't find a ton of them. The only one that I can find that was a big smoking gun is, again, from Ray William Johnson's video. So he's got, like, all of the old artifacts here to preserve the story, I guess. So I'll show you a picture of it here, which is this. And a lot of medical professionals saw this and noticed that there was some very fishy shit going on here. It was starting to raise some red flags, sound the alarm bells that, this may not be a case of her having cancer, but instead an undiagnosed case of terminal clout disease. God rest her soul. So the medical professionals pointed out a lot of things that just didn't make sense about the photo. Some inconsistencies, not even using real medical tape, just a laundry list of problems with the photo, and anonymously reported it as suspicious. It got the attention of the Eldridge Police Department, and they conducted an investigation, eventually subpoenaed for medical records from Madison, and found that she'd never been diagnosed with any kind of cancer or tumor from any medical facilities. So it turns out her cancer diagnosis is about as real as Goatman, which is to say, not real at all. Sorry to all the Goatman enthusiasts out there. I don't mean to burst your bubble. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is. He's not real. But what is real is this mugshot right here. Madison was arrested in January. I also didn't mention that even outside of like that one big photo that a lot of people pointed out and heavily scrutinized for inconsistencies, she was posting other photos that weren't hers, apparently. She would use photos from actual cancer patients and post them as if they were her updates, which is unbelievably evil. Like, the whole thing is so genuinely disgustingly evil, but like, to me, when I learned that portion of it, I couldn't believe just how low she sunk for this. Also, it was recommended that Madison not face prison time because she didn't have criminal history and had good grades in college, was employed, which made her less likely to reoffend, which I think is a bunch of baloney. What a load of dirty barnacles. What do her good grades in college have to do with anything here and her ability to lie about having cancer again? No, she'll never do this again. Wait, look at her report card. She has an A in kinesiology. Obviously, she's not going to pull this stunt again. Don't be ridiculous. No prison time at all. She's learned her lesson. Just slap her on the wrist, send her home. So, someone spoke up about that. Her name is Rhonda Miles, and she runs a pancreatic cancer foundation in Nashville. And they actually donated to Madison and testified at the hearing. It was devastating to sit there and watch Scott County prosecuting attorney act like a defending attorney, so that was tough. And I think she'll have a lot of questions to answer from the locals on that at some point. Why are you defending this girl when you were supposed to be prosecuting? I couldn't agree more. This is not something that is just some whoops-a-daisy mistake, kind of silly, stupid, quirky, dumb decision that a young person makes. It's not. This is a cold, calculated, evil plan that she did make like $39,000 from. I don't know why they took it so lightly here. But anyway, before I get to what her sentencing looked like, why don't I let you hear from her herself when she talked about this in court.
20-year-old Madison Russo pleaded guilty to a charge of first-degree theft after police said she pretended to have cancer and received donations online.
I didn't do this for money or greed. I didn't do this for attention. I did this in an attempt to try and get my family back together.
I saw a comment point something out pretty profoundly. It said her plan was to get the family back together, and it worked. They all came to court with her. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. She never said how the family was going to come back together, so, But I don't necessarily believe that. I feel like if the plan was to get the family back together, why the fuck are you making a GoFundMe and making money off of it, right? Plus, let's just assume that your nefarious plan you cooked up worked and your family all did come together to support you. It's absolutely going to crumble when you don't go to doctors to get your treatment, right? So if the family came together, they would immediately know that you are a lying sack of shit, because you would not be going to any of these treatment facilities, and they'd want to support you, right? So they would immediately know that something is wrong since you're not actually getting any treatment from any medical professionals. It doesn't make sense. So I don't think that was the real motive. That was just trying to weasel her way out of a very, very serious situation here because she scammed people out of $39,000. Now, she was ordered to repay that money that was donated to her, which is good. So all of the people who donated money, I believe, got money back for it. So it's at least a nice conclusion for them. They didn't just lose out on that forever.
The judge sentenced Russo to a suspended sentence of 10 years. That means she won't go to jail unless she gets in trouble in the future, but it will go on her record.
And basically she received probation, where as long as she doesn't do anything stinky again in the next 3 years, she won't go to jail. But if she does reoffend and do something bad, then she will. Overall, I think she got off pretty easy from this. Oh, I forgot to mention she has 100 hours of community service work, which, you know, that's not exactly the harshest punishment here to fit the crime, if you ask me. To deceive people with a lie like this here and rake in $39,000 with people that believe they're supporting a cancer patient who's going through an incredibly intense battle is so sickeningly disgusting. And I cannot believe how light the sentencing on not only her case, but cases similar to this have been in the past. Like I said, she's not the only one to do this. She's actually far from the only one to do this. But for some reason, they never actually face big repercussions for it. And I guess I just don't really understand why, because it is still a big, very lucrative scam that they're engaging in. It's highly illegal. So why is it always so light with the punishment? I don't know. Sometimes they don't even face punishment. There's been a couple of times in the past online where people have faked cancer, got a bunch of donations, and then just left, vanished. And they, you know, come back a couple years later, pretend it never happened, and they're just fine. They don't get in any trouble or anything. I don't know. It's just so weird to me. But yeah, I wanted to go over this pretty evil case here of a TikToker being a big ol' sack of shit. That's about it. So yeah. This is another one of those sad situations where I have to admit Twitch chat was right and I look like a bumbling imbecile now. About a month ago, chat was trying to convince me that there was a viral TikTok challenge that was getting people to steal cars and sometimes crash them for views, and I wrote that off as a bunch of baloney. I said, I doubt that's an actual trend, probably just one stupid asshole did it, called it a challenge, and no one ever followed. But it turns out I was wrong. Not only is this boogeyman real, but it actually has led to the death of 4 teenagers this week. Somehow, the challenges continue to get more and more brain dead and dangerous. This generation of Tide Pod eating and hurting yourself for views on TikTok is reaching an absolutely absurd level of wildness. So, it's called the Kia Challenge. It's also not really a challenge, it's more of just a ruin your life speedrun tutorial. Basically, the only goal to be completed with the Kia Challenge is to steal a car and post yourself stealing the car on TikTok. It honestly sounds like it's something made by the CIA to catch potential car thieves. You're fucking instructing them to post evidence of their crime online, making it the easiest slam dunk arrest ever. But anyway, the Kia Challenge was videos that were teaching others how to steal Kias and Hyundais specifically because of a massive vulnerability in many models from Kia and Hyundai. For Kia vehicles, many of them built from 2011 to 2021 have this problem, and for Hyundais, those built from 2015 to 2021 also have this problem. I'm not here to teach you how to do it. I'm not your Thieves Guild sensei, but I will tell you, it is shockingly fucking easy. It's mind-blowing how stupid and simple it is. These cars are more insecure than me going through puberty. They basically steal themselves, honestly. It takes seconds, like actual seconds. Not even like mini seconds, like maybe 2 or 3 tops. It's fucking baffling, honestly. So, since this challenge went viral, there's been this massive increase in thefts with Kia and Hyundais. And this week it led to 4 teenagers dying. In a few of the Kia Challenge videos that are still available online, the people in them are driving recklessly, and in a couple of them even crash. However, this one happened to be a fatal single-car accident, killing 4 of the passengers here, and now the driver's facing a felony charge. Pretty sad story all around, and it all stems from a little TikTok trend. Just when you thought we'd seen the dumbest trends from that platform with like devious licks and shit like that, they've gone even harder now. But I think it's very important we discuss what a massive fuck up this is from Kia and Hyundai. How in the world, 2,000 years after the death of Jesus, with all the technology we have now, how can you have this massive vulnerability? It's obviously a massive problem here, so much so that they have now been served a class action lawsuit as of late September because these vehicles that they manufactured during the time periods I listed don't have immobilizers on them, which as I understand is standard among pretty much all the other automobiles out there, I'm not much of a car guy. I don't know too much about that shit. I know more about the anatomy of a fucking alien than I would a car's engine and what goes into vehicles. But according to the lawsuit, the engine immobilizers are crucial, and they've come at Kia and Hyundai for not having them, stating that they valued profits over safety and security of their customers. And it also outlines just how big of a problem it's become. It is just an absolute epidemic with all of these car thefts with the Kia and Hyundai models here, and it all ties back to the lack of engine immobilizer, as I understand it. And it seems like this was a massive blunder here, because all the extra doubloons they were able to squeeze out of their profit margins is all about to whittle away here and probably end in some net loss with this class action lawsuit. It's a huge deal, obviously. And just a really sad trend all around, since it ended in the death of 4 teenagers who probably wouldn't have stolen this car if they weren't fed the information on how to do it, as well as also fed the idea that by doing it, they'd gain TikTok clout. I believe at the time, and according to this article, the Kia Challenge category on TikTok, like the trend where all of these things lived, had 5.9 billion views across all of the videos there. Now, of course, not all of them were views on videos of people actually stealing the cars. A lot of them were people talking about how dangerous the challenge is. But there was, of course, quite a few videos actually showcasing just the blatant theft of Kias and Hyundais in there, in the Kia Boys area. And just fucking awful stuff. TikTok cracked down on it and banned those accounts and shut all of the Kia Boys, Kia Challenge stuff down, but even still, you can still find quite a few of them, and it clearly does still exist in some capacity because this only happened this week. So it's still a rather popular idea, even if not like a direct trend on TikTok anymore. So just wanted to talk about this a little bit, since this was just a situation where I was just absolutely wrong when Twitch chat was bringing me some new information here that I just refused to believe. It was so outlandish, I didn't believe it. I didn't think anyone would ever actually start a trend of just crime, and I was proven wrong. And it's very sad. Not sad about me being proven wrong, just the actual subject matter here being sad. That's about it. See ya. I'm becoming more and more convinced that TikTok is actually a weapon used to weed out stupid people. Because this story is not the first of its kind. This is not an isolated incident where a TikTok trend or challenge leads to a lot of fatalities. It's honestly getting to the point where these headlines feel like they're AI generated. Like the one we're talking about today feels like a fake story put into Grand Theft Auto as a joke. Just something they slid in there as something silly. But it's apparently legitimate. There's a TikTok trend called the boat jumping challenge, which is responsible for at least 4 people's deaths recently. And the challenge, as the name would imply, is jumping off of a boat going extremely fast. You don't need a master's degree in physics to figure out why this is dangerous, but just in case, I'll lay down the brass tacks, so I'm gonna sit you down in the classroom here for the lecture, so spit out your gum. Since the boat is moving so fast, when you jump off of it, you hit the water hard as shit. You generate a lot of force behind that impact. It's a goddamn wallop. So, what's happening is, when people are jumping off of the boats, they're hitting the water and then snapping their necks and drowning. It's an easily preventable and probably the most embarrassing death imaginable, because you killed yourself for a goofy-ass TikTok challenge. And I also hate that everything in the world is called a challenge these days. That word has lost all meaning. There's nothing challenging about this. Jumping off a boat doesn't have any level of difficulty or skill to it. The only challenge, I guess, is surviving it. Like avoiding being banished to the fucking Shadow Realm for it. But I'm so fucking tired of everything getting called a challenge, you know? Here's the poop without wiping challenge. You take a shit and you don't use any toilet paper or a bidet to clean your anus. Expert difficulty, ultra nightmare mode, impossible challenge. You won't last 5 seconds. It's so dumb. I'm so tired of everything getting labeled a challenge. But anyway, this trend of boat jumping is responsible for at least 4 deaths. And like I mentioned, that is just the saddest way of going out. Not only is it like an agonizingly slow, painful death, but that is just, you're probably getting made fun of in the afterlife for that. Dying for a stupid TikTok trend, you know the angels are shooting spitballs at you. Like, that is, like, it's just a shameful way of exiting this corporeal realm and shedding the mortal coil. That is so fucking sad. Like, I feel horrible that, you know, people have, you know, perished from it, but I honestly am stunned by just how quickly the human brain is devolving. This is like human instincts 101 shit. Like, this is common sense. This is an instinct you're born with. Not to, like, jump off of something going fast because it'll create bad ouchie boo-boo moment. Fucking cavemen probably would know not to jump off of, like, a speeding vehicle like this. I just don't understand how anyone would see this challenge and think that it was somehow safe or wasn't dangerous. Like, you'd have to know. You would have to know. And another thing is, it's so traumatizing, like, dying this way, not only because it was extremely avoidable, but because it's most likely done in front of your family and friends. Like, if you're on a boat, you're probably not on a boat with strangers. That's not exactly like you can call up an Uber to do this with. You can't just call up, like, a boat service, right, to pick you up and do this TikTok trend. So you had friends and family around you filming you, and then you did the TikTok suicide challenge right in front of them, and they watched you die and fucking filmed it. That is scarring. That is incomprehensibly nightmarish. So, like, this whole thing is, it's shocking that anyone would actually even do this. Like, 4 deaths from it is surprisingly low, actually. I imagine that's only the reported ones so far, assuming this is a popular trend. And I decided to look it up myself on TikTok to see how big the trend was. And it seems like it was pretty big, and there are still quite a few surviving videos of people doing the challenge, but all of them seem to at least had the foresight to recognize that, you know, pushing that bitch wide open on the boat going like 60 would have been a complete disaster and led to a Mortal Kombat fatality. So the ones that are on there right now are slow boats. They're going slow, so that way they don't hurt themselves doing it or, like, get seriously injured from it. Whereas most people, I guess, didn't recognize that and amplified the danger, fucking Evel Knievel, and actually just warp-drived their boat and jumped off, which led to these 4 deaths in Alabama. This whole situation proves to me, with my fucking tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, that there has to be some kind of shadow organization, the puppet masters pulling the strings of TikTok, that are in this think tank coming up with the most dangerous trends and challenges, knowing that stupid people will die doing it as a way of, like, population control or something. Like, not only is TikTok legitimately rotting the brains of so many people, but they're not satisfied with that. They're gluttonous for more punishment of the human species. So they're coming up with challenges like this knowing that people will die doing it. Because, like I said, this is far from the only one. There's also, of course, like the blackout challenge, which was literally suffocating yourself, and some people died doing that. Which, obviously, but that was the whole fucking challenge, basically. You just strangle yourself until you're about to pass out, and some people died from it. But point is, there's so many of these challenges now. This is just the most recent one. And what's even crazier is I think back to the Tide Pod challenge, how everyone all at once recognized the stupidity and the danger of it, and yet that didn't have nearly as many deaths or injuries as any TikTok trend that comes out. Like, every big TikTok trend has, like, at least a handful of deaths associated with it at this point. And even extending further beyond Tide Pod Challenge, many people forget this one, but it's one I look back on with a big fucking smile on my face that someone even tried it. There was something called the Hot Coil Challenge, which was only ever done by one person. It was a dude who just turned his fucking stovetop on and then put his bare forearm on it and let it incinerate his flesh. So he just slams his arm onto the stovetop and lets that motherfucker simmer. He is in there just letting it cook. So he holds it there for a little bit, obviously just melting the flesh off, fucking cremating his forearm, and called it the Hot Coil Challenge. And that would have been less detrimental to human health than fucking TikTok trends like the boat jumping challenge. There would have been less deaths in the Hot Coil Challenge than there are in things like the boat jumping challenge and blackout challenge and all of that. That's so crazy. Now, this isn't exactly related to the boat jumping challenge, but I want to illustrate just how dangerous water speed is. There is a record for the fastest water speed ever achieved, and it was set back in the 70s. And you'd think upon hearing that, like, oh, we've advanced well beyond that with technology. How have we not been able to beat a record from the 70s when it comes to water speed? And that's because it's considered the most hazardous thing to ever engage in. It's the most dangerous record to ever try and break. There's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to it. Of the last 13 attempts to break the water speed world record, there have been 7 deaths. And the 2 most recent attempts both ended in catastrophe and death. It is a record that most people don't really want to challenge because it is so fucking dangerous. I feel like a lot of people just don't recognize how dangerous water can be, which is a silly thing to say, because I feel like most people should be able to, but we're living in clown times right now where people are just, they're not thinking anymore. They see internet engagement and all rational thought goes right out the window. So it's fucking dangerous. Obviously, this boat jumping challenge was going to lead to serious injury and death. And yet, people were blinded in the pursuit of clout. A story as old as time now. Well, not really. A story as old as 3 or 4 years now, with how desperate people are for clout, that they are actually killing themselves for it. So yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya. Hey, I'm home, back from the little Christmas vacation that I took to a basement up north, a basement that I wanted to be in, and I came home and thought, what better way to celebrate the holidays? Quite like hopping on TikTok and watching some TikTok moms do goofy dances while their children die in front of them at the hospital. Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. It's become a little bit of a trend this holiday season for these narcissistic TikTok moms that are terminally addicted to posting cringe on TikTok to go to the hospital where their children are struggling to survive and do dances on top of them. Like, not on top of them, they're not like literally dancing on their fucking corpse or anything, but do dances next to them. So it's a video of these TikTok moms with their sick child, and they're just doing these fucking whipping and nay-naying, hitting the fucking stanky leg and shit, while their kids are dying. Now, admittedly, that last part's a bit of an exaggeration. Not every single one of these videos is the kid in a life or death situation, but all of them are sick because they're in the hospital at the ICU. And the moms all use this as a way of getting some updoots on the platform. And they always say, like, a mother's love for their child is the strongest, most powerful thing in the world. That's a fucking lie. A mother's love for TikTok likes is significantly stronger, and I'm only going to show you one of the videos from this trend, the biggest one by far, and as always, don't go harass the person or any shit like that. Now what you just witnessed was the patient zero of this trend. This is the one that really kicked it all off. Now, I'm no epidemiologist, so I can't really plot it super well, but from everything I can see, this was one of the first and definitely the biggest in this trend. So this is a mom that's busting it wide open, hitting the Gangnam Style while her infant is diagnosed with RSV and struggling to breathe on their own. RSV stands for respiratory something virus. I can't remember the S. Respiratory selfish mom virus. I don't remember. But oftentimes it's not fatal. It's something that does occur pretty frequently from what I remember. Now that's not to say that it's trivial because it can be fatal. So it's not exactly a diagnosis that you'd hear and start wiggling your finger and celebrating. Oh, my kid's got a respiratory virus? Oh, hot dog! The first instinct of any mother shouldn't be to fire up the camera for TikTok clout to capitalize off the situation, but it's become so poisonous to people's mental health that they feel everything is a prop. I really feel like a lot of the parents on TikToks use their kids as props for their own narcissism, so that way they can get likes out of it or get some pats on the back like, oh, great parenting, you're doing wonderful. It's really sickening, honestly. I just think so many people have been brainwashed by the fucking stupidity on the platform that they think something like this is okay or normal. It's just been so ingrained in their DNA at this point. We care more about TikTok likes than, like, the health of our own family, it seems. Because there are people that defend it like, this is a coping mechanism. In fact, this is really good for the infant because they'll see the mother's positive vibes, she's dancing, you know, it's nothing serious. And while there is some merit to that, you know, keeping a positive attitude in a bad situation, you don't need to fire up TikTok for it. How does that help the kid? Is the kid going to get the revenue from that? Is he going to, you know, directly benefit from you making this all about yourself and your dance? Yeah, like, it doesn't make any sense because it's not helping that kid. Keeping a positive attitude, great. And if you want to dance and maybe put a smile on their face, wonderful. But she wasn't doing this for the kid. She was doing this for her audience. Now, overwhelmingly, the response to this was negative, even on TikTok. So she responded by taking down the video and apologizing for it, while also trying to justify it by saying we don't know what she was going through. But I still think under no circumstances is there justification for trying to get TikTok clout out of an awful situation like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I don't see how you could defend it, but anyway, she did take it down, and it started a trend though, regardless. Before it was taken down, there was a lot of these videos. I'm not going to share any of the other ones, but there is one that I want to talk about in particular. It was a lady who was doing, again, another goofy dance in front of their child who was in the ICU for some other respiratory illness. I think it was like some big asthma thing. I don't quite remember now. But her response when there was inevitable backlash was, fuck you guys, this is why people kill themselves. And the kill themselves was like caps locked. So she was blaming everyone else for getting mad at her. She just immediately starts playing the victim and blaming everyone else who was just calling out shitty narcissistic parenting and then trying to like guilt everyone like, this is why people killed themselves, it's your fault. She'd find a way to blame TikTok if she hit her kid with her own car. You know, it was baffling to see that kind of response when people were just pointing out that this was not okay. It's not bullying, it's not frowned upon to point out awful behavior from parents like this. If I had footage of my mom fucking Harlem shaking while I was in the hospital with something going wrong, I would be pissed. I would feel so disgusted. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this since I saw it this afternoon, and it's a pretty fucking gross trend, as is the norm. There is no worse or more degenerate place on the entire internet than TikTok Live. TikTok live streams are actual hell on earth. You'd sooner find me in the adult baby diaper lovers community forums before you'd find me in a goddamn TikTok live stream chat. I would sooner go to the front lines of a war zone than venture on over to TikTok live streams. It's just so bad and pathetic. The majority of the TikTok live streams I've ever seen are just blatant scams or people non-stop begging for donations with a made-up sob story. And that's what we're going to focus on today. I'm sure you've already seen some of the more popular scammers on TikTok live streams, such as the one Mudahar recently made a video about. This is a trend where you have these adults near children who appeared to be ill, and it's a pre-recorded video, it's not actually live. Sorry to spoil the Christmas magic there. And what they're doing is they're just begging for money, like, you know, rocking back and forth, saying like, guys, this child's gonna stay sick unless you give us money right now. Your money can bring this child back to life. We have the antidote, we just don't have the money. The panacea will save them, and we just need your money to save this child's life because they're so sick. If you don't send the money, they're gonna stay sick forever. Please don't let this happen. And it's obviously aimed at exploiting people's willingness to help those in need. This one's actually a pretty deep scam because it's not just individuals doing it by themselves. It's actually like an entire business that is having people do this for them. Like it's like almost an entire empire they're building off of this scam. At least that's what it appears to be. And there's one other thing I'd like to mention, and this one's not very important. It's just a little pet peeve of mine that really grinds my asshole. In TikTok, the way you tip isn't directly with money. They had to be quirky about it and unique. So instead of tipping real money, you're tipping goofy, dumb shit like roses or sunglasses, top hats. Oh, thanks for the 5 roses. Whoa, 14 Glurpees? Holy shit, you're too generous. Oh my god, a milkshake? No, you guys are being too nice today. I understand it's Christmas, but you can't be spending this kind of money giving me a dragon? I hate it. I hate it so much. Don't be such a fucking weirdo. Just make it like 1-to-1, like, oh, here's $5 or whatever. I hate that they have to like convert it into stupid little Microsoft clip art shit as like, here's what you got tipped, it's a rose. It's dumb, I hate that. Not important, but just something I wanted to point out. So this is a very common scam, but it's not the only one. There are just so many scams similar to this, and there's a video that's been posted by a YouTuber named Wasabi who goes over one of the biggest culprits of scamming like this, and probably the most popular one, who frequently does these kind of live streams and still hasn't been banned, and actually has a following of over 500,000 people.
But for live streaming instead.
If you end up on the TikTok live stream section, you've already fucked up. Like, I'm just gonna assume you're there for something nefarious. Like, why the fuck would you ever watch a TikTok live stream? Go anywhere else for live content. Not TikTok. Like, holy shit. It's fucking terrible. That is the worst streams ever. Bar none.
Becomes a lot more appealing to people wanting to give live streaming a shot, or potentially by scammers who see it as a great opportunity to take advantage of other people.
So, judging by the thumbnail, this is the scammer he's about to call out. And I can already tell you he's doing the exact same scam that I briefly mentioned. I'm going to take a shot here, just based off of the other scams I know on TikTok live streams. He plays pre-recorded videos begging for money, doing something, telling a sob story, one of the two. And he just loops that shit endlessly to try and farm money out of it.
And we are not getting a galaxy. You see, I just needed to be positive because we aren't getting a galaxy. I was so confident. You are making me rage today. You are making me rage today because we aren't getting a galaxy. Which means I don't have to knock it over, which means I'm not going to rage, and which means I'm not emo. Because galaxy means I'm emo and I have to knock it down.
Someone translate. Is a galaxy some kind of like in-app currency that's a big one? What does that translate to real currency? How many doubloons? Why am I... How am I getting so many different answers to that question? I'm just gonna look it up myself. How in the fuck? It is a standard rate on the gift, I have to imagine. How the fuck did I get a range of $5 to $1,000 from so many different people? Jesus, why do I ask? Why do I bother asking? Costs $13.50. God damn it. Holy shit, it is $13.50. Okay, so then this is just everyone's doing this scam then. Displaying pre-recorded videos as a stream.
Is this fake? No, your mom fake. It's not fake.
The cherry on top, some people don't even have real streams. They're just pre-recorded. They're fake. So the process for going live is pretty straightforward. On TikTok's website, it says you must be 8 that don't know any better, so they're easy to fool and potentially get money from.
That's also very common. On TikTok Live, I know they take Twitch streams sometimes and just broadcast it there as well on their page to farm off of the TikTok stream, or off the Twitch streamer. So they'll take like a VOD. They'll take like, let's say, XQC playing GTA RP. They'll take his entire stream, download it onto their phone or tablet or whatever, and then they'll just play it as a live stream on TikTok and just let people come in and just farm. That's pretty common on TikTok. I've seen that before. Do I watch TikTok? The only time I go on TikTok is when there's like an interesting drama story. Otherwise, I don't fucking touch it. I am not really too big of a fan. I'm sure there's good content on there somewhere, but I'm not going to be the one digging through to find it. It's more than $13. There's no way it's like $100. Are you talking about the Galaxy? What do you mean? I looked it up. TikTok Galaxy cost. Why did you donate to tell me that when you can just look it up yourself? Roughly the equivalent to $13 to $15 or $13.50 overall. This is outdated? This is December 11th of 2022. It was a week ago. What the fuck do you mean it's outdated? Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe inflation's a whole new kind of beast over on TikTok. I'm just going to say this is probably correct for now.
The easiest way to tell if a stream is fake is to look at the user's profile. For a majority of them, their profiles are either blank with a fake profile picture, and the bio either has no text, or some of them say, "Don't give me Galaxy," which is their way of saying, "Give me money."
Are you serious right now? I haven't blinked for the last 17 days. You can literally join my live right now. Check for yourself. I don't blink.
This is unwatchable. Holy fuck.
Your live? That is cap, bro. I haven't blinked in the last 7 days. You can literally join my...
Is it a scam or do people have bad taste? No, it's a scam. He just plays pre-recorded videos. So when you donate to him, and he's like, "Give me a Galaxy or I'm gonna fucking cry and pee-pee. Give me a Galaxy or it's gonna be real wet trousers in here. No Galaxy?" And then the chat, for some reason, does donate a Galaxy. But since it's a pre-recorded video, he doesn't react to it or anything. He just loops that video endlessly forever. He has all the Galaxies he needs. Yeah. He's got too many Galaxies now. He's got his bag. He said enough is enough. I'll leave a couple solar systems for the rest of you plebs. So Wasabi went over the minimum payout threshold, which is really generous. It's $10. As long as you make $10, you can get paid out for that. So getting one galaxy pretty much immediately covers that, and I imagine he's actually been successful in farming that, considering he has 520,000 followers, and a lot of them just really don't seem to get it. I understand they're kids that still don't have object permanence, where if you put like an orange behind your back, they think it vanishes from existence. So these kids still believe that they're watching real content from the guy, even though it's pre-recorded videos. So I have no doubt that he's been able to get a lot of money out of doing this over and over and over again. He's also been doing this for a long time now. There's videos on YouTube right now that have called him out multiple times over the course of the last like 6 months at least, from like a Cheeto as well as a couple other commentary channels. So he's just been at this grind, the Sigma male grind, all year. Just absolutely scamming children, taking candy from babies.
Followers and likes on his actual profile. But if you were to actually catch one of his lives, then you would see that as a pre-recorded video. Another way to tell that's pre-recorded is look at another YouTuber who has already covered this exact same guy before. A video that they showed for him over 6 months ago is a video that I just showed that I recorded myself when he was live a few days ago. So yeah, the entire thing is fake. And then of course, just like all these profiles that want to try and get money out of you or scam you, they have a link, you click on it, and then they provide 3 different drop downs saying earn this, make this, when all of it is not real. But
the eater of worlds was unsatisfied with just galaxies. His gluttony knows no bounds. So even apart from just the live stream scams, he now also includes more scams in his bio. He's double, even triple dipping into the art of scamming. So you click on his bio link and it brings you to the age-old scam, a classic, an iconic one even, where it's gift card giveaways, win an iPhone, win 50,000 skateboards, win a date with Jenna Ortega, like just all of these stupid things where like, oh, click here, get $750 and an iPhone and shit like that. All of it fake. All of it a scam. So this guy's entire identity online is based around just absolutely slapping kids and their parents' wallets around. But of course, he's not the only one doing it. It is extremely common on the platform right now. So again, I don't know why you'd ever go to a TikTok live stream unless you're really just trying to lose money for the sake of losing it. But at that point, just flush it down the toilet. Why bother giving it to a piece of shit like this guy? So yeah, I just wanted to talk about some of the scams going around on there, and that's about it. See ya. I've said this many times over the last couple of years, but just like my high school basketball coach, you don't take me seriously. Every time I try to preach this gospel, you think I'm joking. I'm not. Wipe that smile off of your face, Buster. I am going to scream it once again with my whole chest. Cringe is the ultimate evil. It's the only unforgivable sin. Through the eyes of the internet, the ultimate crime is being cringe. So why am I talking about this? Well, it's because 2 videos have just gone viral for being cringy, and everyone has been dunking on them. The first one absolutely blew up, and it's become one of the most divisive videos I've seen hit the internet since the fucking Yanny and Laurel debate. It's this woman celebrating getting her pancakes by doing a little boogie. I have to mute the audio, so I'm just gonna beatbox for this. On Twitter, this video has well over 100 million views. This is the biggest tweet from it, saying we're all the person at the next table, and it's that woman in the background who's looking on confused and disgusted and annoyed about this. And the video has over 100 million on Twitter, but then an additional like 30 million or so on TikTok. And boy howdy, has this led to an unbelievably large and aggressive conversation. Mortal Kombat 1 came out, but the fatalities in this debate have been far more brutal than anything in that game. I tell you what, sports fans, this shit has been wacky. It's her pretending that she's super excited to get food, my hangriness leaving my body, and she's doing a little goofy TikTok dance. It's very artificial. It's not real. Like, is she actually having fun here? Who's to say? That's a secret between her and God. I have no idea if she's actually having fun, but it's clearly performative for TikTok updoots. She's looking for the internet likes. And it's not really bothering anyone because she's just doing it herself. The only one that's directly involved here is the staff that's bringing her the food, and she's subjecting them to cringe, which could be considered terrorism to a certain extent because cringe is, it's a fucking weapon. I don't care what anyone says. Weaponized cringe is some of the most potent Geneva Convention violating warfare we have at our disposal. So yes, the staff is exposed to her like pretending that she's super excited to get food, so the staff brings it over and she starts dancing like a toddler here with her happy dance of food, and it's all fake, right? But she's not really bothering anyone. The girl at the other table is just looking on confused and annoyed, which is a very normal response I think most humans would have, because this is a very weird thing to do as an adult. If you want to be treated like an adult, then you need to dress like an adult. Me. That's right, we're doing a me costume for Halloween, so you can wear me like a goddamn flesh suit. So it comes complete with the long hair, even's got my tattoos 1-to-1 for temporary tattoos, and then just like a fun little shirt to go along with the whole collection. So that's the new merch drop for this Halloween. It's available now. I'll put a link in the description. Oh yeah, also the beard. You don't want to be a clean-shaven Charlie. That'd look really weird. And there's nothing cringy about that. If you don't want to get made fun of, then that's what you need to dress like for Halloween. Anyway, the point here is, a lot of people were extremely upset about this video. There was a lot of hostility both in people defending the action and those attacking it. Me personally, I don't like it. It does bother me. I've said this a million times. I think the current climate of things where everything needs to be a fucking song and dance that you put on for an online audience of TikTok people to give you attention is trash. Everyone competing for internet attention at all times and faking everything to get some likes on your posts, awful. So yeah, I don't like that. If I was in that restaurant, you wouldn't see me like flip over a table in anger or anything, but you would see me look over annoyed about it and maybe make fun of it a bit before moving on. But on the internet, cringe is a big deal, and it stays that way, and for some reason gets really aggressive and super deep, like almost philosophical to a certain point. In this case, with this video, she didn't really do herself any favors because she was arguing with everybody on TikTok, and she was getting really mean and nasty in some of the comments. But the point is, people respond to cringe very harshly. Now, there is a bigger talking point I want to get to, but in order to get there, I'd like to show you the other big video that blew up only about 2 days ago as of making this video.
Want to see the cringiest, most cuddly thing ever? This is called a love surge. And we do this when one of us has like so much love in our limbs that we can't contain it and feel like we're gonna explode. So Sean is having a love surge right now, and he's gonna wrap around me and shake with the electricity of love until I catch it too and start shaking, and then you explode with a love surge.
Ah, I feel so much better.
Don't you?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's the love surge.
So much love was just surged.
Sean's not wrong. There was a lot of love getting surged there. The cup runneth over on love. In fact, I think I started to feel some of the particles from that surge all the way over here. Nearly took out the power grid. Now, this also got really big on Twitter, and people fucking hated it. And they hated them for being cringy. Which, as you can imagine, didn't feel super great for the woman in this video here who posted a follow-up.
A lot of the duets and stitches were really funny and I laughed a lot. I can take a joke and I can laugh at myself. But then some of the comments got like, really, really mean. And they were like wishing that like someone cheated on each other, or wishing that like DV on me, or SA, or like to unalive myself. And I think like if the goal was to make me sad, you did it, you won.
She posted this video going over how all of the really mean comments made her feel, like the really personal ones wishing horrible things upon her and the family. And what really sucks is how unsurprising this is. The internet has become a place where you expect this. Anytime a video is posted, no matter what it is, if it's cringy, even if it's good, you already know there's going to be a large number of people that are going to hate it. And when people on the internet don't like something, they go to the biggest possible extreme to let you know their dislike of it, telling you to do the worst things ever and wish the worst things ever upon you. It's unfortunately very commonplace online. I remember when I first started posting on the internet, I had read somewhere a quote: when someone wears a mask, they show you their real face. So basically, it's not the most profound thing ever. When someone is anonymous, they show you their true colors. And most people aren't that nice. And so what happened here is, this was cringy, so people started being very not nice, and she posted this video hoping that maybe if you saw how it made her feel, that it would stop. And as you can probably guess, it only made it worse. The comments were saying things like, just need another love surge, or order up on that love surge to help. If there's one thing the internet hates more than cringe, it's weakness, vulnerability. If you show that something hurt you, that's the biggest possible trophy you can ever give to people online, because now they know they're getting to you and they will just keep that pressure coming. There was really nothing good that could have come from this video, but I do legitimately feel bad for her and Sean here, because their only crime was posting something cringy. I don't think they should have posted it to begin with, but that's once again just the product of everything being a competition to get internet attention. So they took a very personal thing with them being lovey-dovey and having this really quirky love surge thing they do, and they wanted to share it online, because everyone wants to share everything online all the time, and what happened here is it ended up being an awful experience. So, let's tie this into what I want to talk about on a deeper level. Why cringe is literally the worst thing you can do online as a content creator, it feels like. Over the many, many years I've been online, I have seen some people do the worst things imaginable. And those people still have an audience and supporters, despite being a piece of shit that does horrible things. And then I've seen cases where someone does something a little too whimsical. They get a little too silly and it's embarrassing. And they lose a lot of supporters for it. More so than someone that is an actually awful person doing horrible things. And I guess it's honestly not even fair to say that it's just the internet that has no forgiveness for cringe, because one of the best examples of an entire career being unraveled from something being a little too goofy actually comes from 2004 and predates the modern internet as we know it. Howard Dean and the now infamous Dean Scream. Howard Dean was a very prominent political figure, and in 2004 was a presidential candidate. And his entire world got fucking blasted when he was doing a rally and got a little too excited. He was given a very passionate speech. He's like, we're going to Washington, we're going to Oregon, then we're going to my buddy Eric's place to eat some ice cream, and then we're looping back around, we're going back to Washington, and then Oregon. Yeah! And that moment, that one silly little screech ruined his entire presidential run and made him a laughingstock, all from just a droplet of cringe. I actually think he was a pioneer who was ahead of his time, because if he did that today, he'd be looked at as like an icon on TikTok, because that kind of shit's not cringy per se anymore. But anyway, the point I'm making here is it might not even just be an internet-specific phenomenon. It might be like a human-specific thing where we're just hardwired to dislike cringe and always hold it against the person who made us feel the cringe. I don't really know. I'm getting scientific about something that has absolutely no basis in science. It's just something I've observed for pretty much my whole life, where some people will do what I consider to be unforgivable things, like legitimately horrible, terrible, awful things, and yet they still go on to have an extremely successful career. They have tons and tons of fans. Someone like Chris Brown. Chris Brown, I think, is a bad guy. A hot take. I think he's a bit of a jerk. He has a history of beating women. He beat Rihanna within an inch of her life, and yet, look at him today. He has probably more fans now than ever. Like, he just got nominated for an award at the VMAs a few days ago, and people were cheering, applauding, losing their minds over it, celebrating. Somehow, his fans stood beside him and still support him through all of that. Meanwhile, there have been many such cases of someone posting either an embarrassing video as a YouTuber or having some embarrassing information leak or something cringy come out, and their fans like abandon them. Just like straight up drop it like, nope, I can't be seen here anymore. I don't know, it's just baffling to me. But yeah, now I'm starting to get a little lost in the rant here. Point is, with these two videos in particular, the people in them didn't do anything wrong. One of them wasn't even in public, and yet the response to it was extreme amounts of anger, which is always just interesting to me. And it's not like I'm innocent of it, like I'm super guilty of seeing some cringy things and being, surprised and even a little annoyed, even though I'm not directly involved for sure. But it's just fascinating to see like the level that people will take it to and just the incredibly harsh response to something cringy. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. So yeah.